Okay. Let me make sure this at the bottom and let that one be there for now.
I didn't hear you. Hey, man. I didn't hear you. Guys, share the video, share the video. Let's say media is coming live with Dr. Bior. Share the video, please. Let's say media is live with Dr. Bior. Please share the video, share the video.
Be loyal to one.
Guys, share the video, share the video. We are live. Let's say video is live. Dr. Bior, please share the video. Dr. Bior is from Juba. People would like to hear message from Juba. How the COVID-19 is going in Juba. Share the video, please. Share the video. Share the video. Dr. Bior in the house of Lake State Media. Share the video.
Hello?
We need to bring somebody with a picture. So tell them to appear in the video with the picture. Our audience, Dr. Bior is here with us. He's from Juba, and I believe everybody is anxious to hear a situation in Juba. Everybody is anxious to hear a situation in Juba. Please share the video. Join us on Lake State Media. I believe everybody would like to hear what's going on in Juba. Share the video and come join us. Dr. Bior will talk to us and we will ask him some questions. So please share the video. Join us. Join us. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, this is how it's we are going to roll. First of all, I want to say thank you to Dr. Bior for tuning in. It has been a rough for all of us here overseas, especially here in West. We don't know exactly what is going on in Junub Sudan. So it is our pleasure to help you, and also we want to make sure people here also have upper hand, or people actually are doing the real work. Not a yes says, not a social media warrior or social whatever it is. But hang on tight, Dr. Bior, for a second. Just let me give it a 2 minutes. So maybe for those who have not see the video, please share with your friend, tag your friend, and let them know, because this is very important for all of us, because it's really very hard for us here to hear from upper hand people. So please share the video and Dr. Bior will start in few minutes. Doctor, you have another person online too. You want him to be a part of the?
Oh, I think I was just sharing the video. Maybe I did do it correctly.
Okay, you have to move. Someone is also on live. If you can remove him.
How do we do that?
Call match is online, so if you can take him off.
Okay. You can just listen in.
Oh, he can listen. Okay, that's fine. All right. Yeah, just hang on there. Hang on tight for a second. Please share the video.
Bior Kuer, came and the Parian, oh, and me growing, wine, no, mine, no, dog, mine. You look what's about her, rap a hot dog, in a one side,
Lit Mobile just sent me this wireless solar power bank. Let's see what's inside. Power bank has 20,000 milliamps. It can charge your iPhone or Android up to 8 times. I just love the way this product is designed. It has.
Can you shut down that announcement?
Liberty. Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
Okay. Let me close it. Okay, welcome to Lake State Media, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It is an opportunity for us here at Lake State Media and all South Sudanese over the world. Especially we have heard for the last couple of days, things are getting bad in Juba, especially for the coronavirus, COVID-19. We haven't heard from anyone who have a first-hand on how situation is. It will take me maybe 20 to 15 minutes to actually introduce Dr. Bior, who he is. Please, if you want to know, I have already pinned his LinkedIn profile, and you can find out from there who he is. He was educated here in the West, and he went back to South Sudan to help. Okay. Before we start, I want to let everyone know. Here, you have to be civil, and I have to be civil. I don't want to choke you or you choke me to make your point. Two, if you don't like and you don't want to hear how things are going on in South Sudan, it's better excuse yourself and let the rest of us who want to know how the situation is going listen to Dr. Bior. Dr. Bior is a member of the high-level task force on COVID-19 in South Sudan. He will elaborate more later on his position. I have my brother Bior Kuer, my brother Madin Majak. They are the team and members of Lake State Media. So, Bior,
Yeah.
Madin, if you guys add a little bit more, and then we will start right away with Dr. Bior. Hold on, Kwon. If you can mute yourself, hit the mute button on your. That way we cannot hear you. You don't have to turn. You don't have to turn off your radio. Just make sure you mute yourself on the messenger, and then you can listen. It's fine.
Yes. Peter, thank you very much. Dr. Bior and Mr. Paul, we are grateful to have you on Lake State Media. Before we start our program, we will give you a chance to introduce yourself to South Sudanese. And our audience, we would like to highlight that Dr. Bior is not somebody who is based on ethnic or community. He's a South Sudanese. He's a doctor for South Sudanese. He was here in the West. He was in Massachusetts. I read about him before, but when we give him a chance, he will go forward and educate you more. And my brother Kwal, we will give him a chance also to tell us about his background. But I just want to let you know that Dr. Kwal is not affiliated with any political party. You are here on this forum, attend the discussing about COVID-19. That's what he is here. He is not for any political party. Please, I just question you so you can know he's a doctor, and you know doctor is for everybody. So thank you.
Well,
Dr.
politics is off the table tonight.
Yeah, politics is off the table tonight because we are not here today to politicize anything. If you want to ask a question about the situation of our members, just ask a question as they are the normal citizen of South Sudan. If you want to know about Dr. Yagmachar, you want to know about Dr. Michael Makunulwed, you want to know about whoever, just talk as a nationalist. There is nothing to do with politics today. Thank you. We will welcome Dr. Bior, welcome our brother Kwal. Madida will give you a recognition of 2 minutes so you can tell us what you have about our brother. Thank you.
Thank you. I will not take 2 minutes, only some seconds. I just want to say thank you, Brother Bior and Peter. And I want to welcome our Dr. Bior to Lake State Media and our brother Kwal for accepting our invitation to join us at Lake State Media. And we, the South Sudanese diaspora, we are so worried about what's going on in Juba and about the COVID-19 because our people are suffering so much there. And we see the cases are rising every day. And and we are happy that to hear from you two that who are fighting with this horrible disease that's killing people around the world, not only in Juba. So we want to thank you two for the wonderful job you're doing for keep our people safe and for fighting for this coronavirus. And also I'm praying for you two to be safe. So thank you, and Peter, take it from there.
Okay. This is what I want to do. I check.
Yes.
You can introduce yourself. Say maybe a minute or hold on, a minute or two, and then exit yourself from Bior Messenger so you can watch on the other way. So Bior network won't be.
Okay. My name is Jacob Achek Ayol, and I really appreciate you guys for the connections. I thank you for inviting Dr. Bior so we can actually hear what is going on in the ground. And I wanted to say thank you, Vermonters. Bior, thank you for the job you're doing out there. And I'll be watching. I'll mute myself or I'll check myself out.
Yeah.
I'm actually at work, so I find myself being connected. I would have not joined the line because you guys might see me. I'm at work, and so I will listen. I'm Jacob from Vermont. That's my other name. Check it.
You need to come back and
you might see me.
You need to come back and visit us. Okay.
Nice to see you, gentlemen. I will take myself off here and I will just listen on the other line. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it.
A moment. Jacob, a moment before you take yourself up. I didn't even recognize you now, my buddy. I just recognize you now when you were speaking. We had been a great comrades in the army, so in the Red Army. So before.
It's been a while. We're getting old.
Yeah, I just recognize you right now, so I'm excited. But this is what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm excited. If Dr. Bior network is fine, if you can speak eloquently, then there's no point you take yourself up. Even the other guy that I've seen on just came just came by now. I realized that we were in the same high school, so I'm excited to see all of you. So if Dr. Bior can speak eloquently, then there's no point you should take yourself up. Yeah, can stay on the screen and we can talk together.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I brought you on, guys, because I've been getting some questions from each of you at different times. So I thought it would be good if we could all come together.
Okay, then you can stick there. That's fine. And let the next person introduce himself.
Our brother will give you a chance.
We can see you there. And look like, are you running or what? What is going on with you?
I'm walking, you know.
You're walking where?
We are gaining weight in the houses. So we gotta walk around.
At least we are gaining weight. Okay.
Make sure put your mask on while you are out.
How did I end up here? I have no idea how.
It was me. I put you on there because you have been asking questions, and I thought.
Did you add me? Did someone add me or what? I don't know.
I did.
Well,
for the one
if
who
you end up unexpectedly, that's fine. Go ahead. Okay, let me bring you. You are on the Let's Say Media Live with Dr. Bior, Jacob Achek, Bolmakur, Madin Majak, Peter Kenny. What brings us together today? We invited Dr. Bior to come and highlight, talk to South Sudanese the situation in Juba. So feel free, introduce yourself, and we'll give floor to Dr. Bior to introduce himself, and we'll start the topic. Thank you.
Okay, let me just greet you all, my brothers who are on this forum. Anyway, I will not shy away, even though I was not maybe part of the forum, but still, it's okay. We are South Sudanese, and I think the topic is something that attached to all of us regarding the the situation in Juba concerning the coronavirus. So you can go ahead, but I will listen to Dr. Bior and the rest, what they will say. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys for putting this forum forward, because what is going on in Juba is worrisome. It's very worrying. Our people are not taking precaution seriously from the health personnel in Juba. They are not serious about this. Even those who are educated, those who knows how to take care of themselves, they are not taking seriously, apart from the civil population who are not educated. If those who are educated, they are not even taking the precaution tool that has been provided by the government. So it is a good topic to give our people awareness. So we have been seeing Dr. Bior and the rest of other health personnel maybe in the Department of Health. So this is the time for us to listen to you, what you can tell us. We in the diaspora, we are following those advice from the United States government, even though the disease is still killing people in big numbers. Everyone is doing his or our own best, you know. So I'll stop from here. Thank you very much. The guy from Boman who is hosting us is my uncle at the same time. So thank you very much. I will stop from here. I moderate, my brother. Thank you. I haven't seen you for a while. I don't know where have you been hiding?
In your moderate mood, I've been in Colorado since we departed with Bior and Kenny.
So you don't call yourself Boman guy then? You have to. You are no longer in Boman.
Three of us are all projects of Boman.
They say once per month, forever per month.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Maud. I'll let you go. It's up to you. You can excuse yourself if you want to stick around there. But
I will listen. Yes.
Okay. This is the moment we have been waiting for. Dr. Bior, you can take it from here.
Okay. First, I would just like to greet all of you brothers who have joined the forum. And also, I would like to thank the Lagos State media for providing the platform for us to share ideas today on what is happening in South Sudan and actually globally. Some of the brothers that I have left behind for a number of years, it's good to see you again. And it's also good to reconnect. I have been receiving some questions from my colleagues from the US on different occasions. I have answered some of them, and some of them have gone unanswered. So I thought this is the place where we can really ask questions and then provide answers. I consider myself somebody who is in the thick of what is happening. And I have some first-hand information on what is happening in South Sudan that I would like to share with you. So thanks to the Lagos State media for providing this platform.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate you coming. So this is how we are going to start. First of all, I want you to introduce yourself, who you are, and what are you doing before we even have this question about COVID, what's happening in South Sudan. Because after all, all we know is Z and Y is doing this in Juba, this and that is dying. He had HIV, got coronavirus. So introduce yourself and what are you doing? Who are you, by the way? So probably most people don't know you.
My name is Bior Kuer. I thought the introduction was done earlier, but that is my name. I used to be in the US, but I'm now in South Sudan, in Juba. I work in the Ministry of Health at the National Public Health Laboratory as the Director of Molecular Diagnostics. And I'm currently in the Secretariat of the High Level Task Force. And I'm the focal point person for the diagnosis of COVID-19. I'm the one who is coordinating the establishment of testing centers for COVID-19 across the country. So that's what I'm currently occupied with, is to coordinate between the High Level Task Force and the laboratory, the National Public Health Laboratory.
So the first question is, so what is the situation of COVID-19 in South Sudan now? What is the situation? We are getting a conflicting numbers, you know, first of all, we had the general public is not being tested. The only test is taking place for only people that are actually, you guys identify they have been in contact with those that are contracted by the virus.
Okay. Yeah. So generally, here is what is happening. I can summarize it. We are at the early stage of the pandemic. If you were to draw a graph, it will be very straight graph that is going upward. The number of people that we are recording on daily basis shows that the trajectory is going to increase as time goes. The number that we have so far is 400 plus. And let me tell you, we have not the capacity to test everybody in Juba, leave alone the rest of the country. So the nature of the pandemic is probably worse than what we are seeing now. What we are seeing is limited by what we can test. So what kind of people are we testing? First, we set up rapid response team. These are the people that if you call from your house and you have symptoms that are consistent with COVID-19, then the team goes to your house and takes your sample. Those were the people that were initially tested. And then you have the lockdown, so people were not moving out of Juba to the state. They could only move if they are tested. And then increase the number of people that were coming to be tested. So majority of people that are now being tested are people that want to travel outside Juba to the state. So the 400 that you are seeing is not from the general population. If you were to do a general test, like what is being done in other countries, such as the US, the nature of the pandemic would probably be worse than what we have recorded so far. So that's where we are. And you may ask later on why we don't have the capacity to test everybody in the country, and I will be able to answer that. But that's where we are. The number of deaths that we are recording is in Juba, and the number of people that are tested positive. Some are coming from the state. The majority of them are in Juba.
Okay. Now, before we start asking questions exactly what's happening or how you guys are going to handle that situation, my resources you have. So, is there any other highlight that we want to know as a general public of what is going on?
The other highlight that is something that Mahmoud has alluded to earlier, and it basically is a failure in risk communication. The level of knowledge in the general population in South Sudan on COVID-19 remains very low. You know, some people are even skeptical as to whether the disease really exists or is some shenanigan from the government or the world domineering power. So you have a number of people, some intellectual actually, that can tell you to your face that this is not real. So that's one category. There are people that don't just know what it is that is going on. So you cannot really enforce the measures that have been taken if people don't take it seriously. You see people going around without wearing face masks or other preventive devices. You see people gathering in large numbers, although that is against what the high-level task force has demanded, and so it will be very difficult to contain the spread of virus in South Sudan. Precisely because of that, people don't know what is going on, and some people are skeptical. If we were to ramp up the risk communication, which will take a very long time, to inform everybody, then hopefully you will have a chance of containing the disease. But as things stand, people are not taking it seriously. They are not taking the preventive measures that have been announced by the high-level task force. We're told not to move outside Juba to the state without being tested for COVID-19. And the reason for that is we know we don't have a healthcare system that can really deal with the pandemic, especially at the state level. So the ideal was to make sure that Juba was isolated from the rest of the country. That is not being respected. You see people loading themselves on their land cruisers because the roads are bad, and they go to the state. So the flow of people from Juba to the state and from the state to Juba has never stopped, even before the presidency lifted the restriction. So because we know the disease started in Juba, that's where the international agencies that brought the disease came. So we wanted to prevent it from going to the state, because if it gets into the local population at the state level, it is going to be disaster. And I think it already got there.
Okay. Thank you. I will just give chance to Madid so that we can start question. I know it is very late on your time, but we just want to make sure that we
my
give
night
you time.
is almost 3 now, so it's fine. Good morning.
Okay. Madid or Bol, you guys take it from here for a 2 second.
Okay. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us today. I know it's late. It's almost 3 o'clock, and thank you for stay up this late and update our general public, because and this is the reason why we won't bring you at this media, so you can update South Sudanese diaspora, for most of the South Sudanese diaspora and their ability in South Sudan, and we are seeing every day outbreak is heartbreaking. So, and for you who are there working, so I have one question that I want to ask you about. What is what's going on in South Sudan with the National Health Service?
Okay. So you're asking what is going on in the healthcare sector in South Sudan?
Yeah.
Our healthcare system is very weak. In fact, nobody should even defend themselves that we are in a position to contain the pandemic, because the level that our healthcare system is not in a position to deal with the pandemic. We don't have good hospitals. We don't have good clinics. We don't have ICU that can be used to isolate individuals. We are now beginning to establish some, but it's still it's very limited. So the state of healthcare in South Sudan is in a very terrible shape, and is not in a position to contain the pandemic. That's what I can say about that. Also, South Sudan population has poor health indicators, which is one of the things that worries people the most. What I mean by health indicators is a lot of people are sick. You have people that have chronic diseases. You have people that have disease that can be prevented, but they cannot be prevented because there's no health care system. Those people have what is called, in terms of the COVID-19, they have comorbidity, things that will expose you to COVID-19, things that weaken your immune system, malaria, diabetes, high blood pressure, malnutrition. Those are the factors that will make it easy for COVID-19 to kill you. And so Sudan has 4 health indicators in the general public. So it is so worrisome because even if the median age in South Sudan is 15, and you know COVID-19 is its effect is age dependent. For example, in the West, 90% of people that are dying are 60 and above. In South Sudan, the number of people that are 60 and above compared to the young population are minimal. So our median age is 17. So somebody would say that is a positive attribute for our population. But the thing is, even the younger people have pre-existing conditions. So will make it easy for them to fall prey to COVID-19. So that's the worry. We don't have a very strong health care system to contain the pandemic. The population has 4 health indicators. So the outlook is looking really bad.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Yeah, and that's one of the things that we know here. We people who are living in Western, because South Sudan is one of the poorest countries in East Africa mostly, and we are lack of medical supplies. And I think if something like this happen, break out like coronavirus pandemic break out, South Sudan would be very vulnerable for this disease. And something that I was, Doctor, because I was so false, the government of South Sudan, because this will be a little bit political, but it's not political. It will go toward the health things. So why the South Sudan healthcare and South Sudan government as a whole, when they hear about the coronavirus break out, why they didn't early on, why they didn't close the borders, close down the flight, international flight? Because all I know that this disease, these cases that's coming out are causes by those people who are working with the United Nations, with the refugees, and people who are coming outside in the hospital. Why the government and the health care come up early to stop the movement, to close down, so that this outbreak can be stopped early? What is like? What long? What take them so long to intervene to close down the borders?
Yeah, the word early in this case is very subjective. The debate can be had on whether the shutdown was done early or not. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the shutdown itself. The debate raging right now whether South Sudan should shut down or not. Initially, the high-level task force decreed that all the borders should be closed. The movement between Juba and the state should be closed. And that held on for a few weeks. But then that was lifted. So I thought your question was going to be why. So here's the problem in South Sudan. In other countries where the shutdown has been done, those governments are in a position to follow up with the economic stimulus. For example, in the U.S., I think there has been a lot of money released by the government to make sure that the businesses that have been closed down don't fail. In South Sudan, we are between rock and hard place. You shut down the country, and then what? You don't have the money to bail out the business, so you're going to face some serious economic issues. So it's what is normally called is life and death decision to be made. So the measures were lifted with the hope that people will respect social distancing and that somehow pandemic will be contained while making sure that the economy runs. A great deal of what is happening in South Sudan in terms of service provision is done by the international organization. Say how. You have all these health agencies that are in the country that are filling in the gap to do what the government is already doing. If you keep those people out, then what is going to happen with the general population? COVID-19 is not the only thing killing people. In fact, right now, malaria is still the biggest killer of children in South Sudan, not COVID-19. So if we shut down, if we shut off the international agencies from coming to South Sudan, you are essentially shutting down these services that are going to the people. And so you have a very hard choice to make. So the opening was made in to make sure that these other provisions are provided. Otherwise, if we had the resources like other countries, shutting down completely would be the idea, so that nothing comes in, and then so that we can deal with what is already inside. But now we are wide open. Although the entry is still guarded, people that come in must come with COVID-free status. Still, the country is open, and we cannot really shut it down ideally, even internally, because everything then grind to a halt, and we face the real potential of people breaking out in disobedience. So these are hard choices to make. What do you do? If you don't die from COVID-19, hunger is going to kill you. And also, hunger is going to weaken your immune system. So by the time COVID-19 finds you, it will easily kill you. So those are hard choices to be made.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate for your time. I will yield back the floor to my brother Bol Marku, and if I have other additional questions for you later on, I will come back. So thank you for your answer my question. Bol Marku, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Madid. Doctor, welcome to Lake State Media. Like I did before, my brother Chang Ayol, welcome, and my brother Mawood. Actually, Mr. Mawood, we used to be in the same school. I don't know if you remember. So welcome to Lake State Media. Chang Ayol, we used to be in the same minor group. Welcome to Lake State Media.
I can recognize your boys from Mugumu High School.
Yes, Mugumu High School. Thank you. Thank you. So, Doctor, actually, my question already being said, but I can still turn it another way around. We believe that COVID-19 is believed to be spread between people who are in close contact with one another. And that's why all borders are shut down. In Juba, if UN or any flight come in, don't they have a testing station whereby if anybody exit the plane, it has to be tested right away and identified if he is sick or not?
Yes, initially what was done was that anybody coming to South Sudan must quarantine themselves for 14 days and then get tested for COVID-19. That is being done. Right now, the provision has fixed. What is being demanded from anybody coming outside the South Sudan is that you must come to the certificate showing that they've been tested for COVID-19 and you test negative. And then at that same time, you have to quarantine yourself for 14 days before you can join the general public. So that part, I think, can be contained. What cannot be contained is inside the country, people that are already tested positive. Are they isolating themselves from the general population or not? They are not. Especially the young people. Those who are very young, they test positive and they don't have symptoms. And by the way, 80% of people that test positive for COVID-19 don't show symptoms. Especially if the immune system is strong, if they are young. But here is the problem with that. When they go and mingle with the population, they will give it to somebody who is vulnerable, somebody whose immune system is already compromised. Those are the people that get sick. So there's an element of responsibility toward your brother and your sister. What is your responsibility to the next person as a citizen? If you test positive for COVID-19, the moral thing to do is to educate yourself so that you don't give it to somebody who is vulnerable than you are. The government does not have the capacity to enforce that. Believe you want to do it through law. through the law enforcement agency. You cannot police. For example, right now we have tested 400 people are tested positive for COVID-19. How do you possibly police 400 people in Juba? Make sure that they are staying in the houses as demanded by the protocol. They are not. So they are the one mingling with people, and they are the one spreading it inside Juba, and also some of them are traveling to the state, and they are spreading it there. So there's a general sense of Genevieve not being responsible citizens. You know, if you are healthy, you don't care about the next person who is not healthy. And I don't see what is nationalism in that. So we have to really look deep into our souls as people and say, what does it mean to be in community? Because the country is a community. What does it mean to be a community? What is your responsibility to the next person in that community that you are in? Should you not protect them? Someone from something. Do you go and hug your grandma if you know that you are COVID-19 positive? Because you will be killing them. It's the same thing. The next person in the community who is vulnerable, who is 70 years old, with better than diabetes, high blood pressure, and other comorbidities. You go around, you know you are positive, and you are young, you are 30 years old, your immune system is up to date, so COVID-19 will likely not kill you. And you go around and you give it to that person. What are you doing? How do you feel from inside? These are the questions that we should ask ourselves as individuals. To me, it's a moral issue. So the spread of the disease is not something coming from out. What is already inside here that we are not managing well.
Thank you, Doctor. So tell us about our official that we just heard from people, but we need to hear from the task force. How many officials now are sick within the IG and IO? Little bit political, but
no, that information is not medical necessary.
Absolutely.
It does not matter whether somebody is IG or IO. If they
Maud,
if
and I hear your network is getting bad. If you guys can excuse yourself and work on the other side.
What you care about is how many
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I will.
yes.
You mean me? Yeah, so I think I answered that question.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Still, okay. Since we know, the COVID-19 have stages. It have a mild to severe respiratory illness symptoms that include fever, cough, and shortness of breath. Right now in Juba, do we have people gone to a symptom that indicate an emergency situation, which include troubling breathing, persistent pain or pressure in the chest, confusion or inability to arouse or bleach lips or face? Because we have people already infected, but have they gone to an emergency state that we need seriously more ventilators?
Right. We have individuals that are already isolated at John Grant Infectious Disease Center, which is one of the ICU that was established at the early stage of the pandemic by the high-level task force, and be equipped with beds and ventilators. So if any of those individuals later on will require ventilation, then that would be done. But now we have people that are isolated at the John Grant Infectious Disease Center. The number of those people, I don't really have the number with me right now, but I think it's more than 3 that well, they have been released. So that is the general public information. Some individuals that were isolated at John Grant Infectious Disease Center got well and they have been released. And those that are still there are also being managed. How are they being managed? That is the question that should be asked. As you know, there's no treatment for COVID-19. zero. So what the doctors are doing is what is called conservative management. And what that means is that other illnesses that you already have that will make it easy for COVID-19 to kill you as one being managed, plus managing the symptom of COVID-19. So say, for example, somebody has high blood pressure and diabetes, and other illness that may be considered for mobility. Those can be managed to ensure that the body is able to respond better to the viral assault. That's what is being done, and some individuals are responding positively to that management. And a few individuals, some of them actually have died, were not able to respond, and the illness progressed to critical state, and those are the individuals that died. So you would expect a few number of people will progress to critical, and some of that will be managed, but some of that will not, unfortunately, be managed. So that is the nature of the pandemic. And so what the high-level task force is doing right now, in conjunction with the Ministry of Health, is to establish more ICU. Dr. John Greng is up and running. Another section of it is being renovated to be able to contain more people. The Juba Teaching Hospital has a new wing, but is now added to ICU. But that is just in Juba. The other question that somebody can ask is, what about in the state? What needs to be done there? There's some work that is under. The African Development Bank provided $4 million to WHO, but that money is being used to renovate 10 state hospitals. And they will be equipped with ICU so that if there are cases at the state level, it can be isolated from there. That work is in progress. The problem is the pandemic is not waiting for us. We are a bit slow in implementing those plans, but the pandemic is already ahead of us. So those are the challenges. How do you catch up with the virus that is spreading very quickly? And given the limited resources we have, given the conditions, other economic and difficulties that cause them to situation as a country. So those are the challenges, but the work is being done. It's not adequate, I can admit, but some work is being done.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate your answers. I will yield the floor back to Peter.
Okay. Thank you, Bol, and thank you, Madid. The next question that I have, probably you have touched more on it, but maybe if you can elaborate more. First of all, you said, the plan was that you guys want to make sure the COVID is actually contained in Juba, not to spread it to the state. Now that's not the case. What is next?
Very good.
What is next?
So
you guys are not going to contain it in the capital now. So what is next? Basically, we know it's going to go to the state.
It's already in the state. So what is next is to contain it at the level of the country. And how do you contain it? Well, you establish more ICUs at the state hospitals, the 10 state hospitals, and to make sure that people that are critical can be admitted and managed in those ICUs. The general population is still being urged to adhere to social distancing, to make sure that, it not spread very quickly among the people. People are being told to just prevent the nature, you wash your hands, avoid handshake, and you wear your face mask, especially the vulnerable. Now, that is easy said than done. Are people doing that? It all goes back to awareness. Like I said earlier, the risk communication strategy that the Ministry of Health has is full in check of informing the general public. Make sure that they know how do they prevent the disease, how do they protect themselves from getting the disease, and what do they do to manage themselves when they get it. That information is not pervasive in the public, the knowledge is very low. So you find people still gathering in large numbers, violating the principle of social distancing. You still find people beating themselves, shaking their hands as they normally do, violating the principle of no handshake and other close contact. You find people not wearing face masks when they are walking around. Again, expose themselves to the infection from the air, from other individuals that are close. So I can just tell you, it is going to be a mess. But the government is trying the best with the health agency that has to make sure that the pandemic. My hope is this, personally, COVID-19 is age dependent. For example, in the West, there in the US, 90% of people dying are people. South Sudan is fairly young. It's a very young country. Not young country as was published in 2011, but the population is very young. Well, our median age is 20. So if people really take good care of themselves, the number of people that will die of COVID-19 will not be too bad. But it's likely that everybody will be exposed.
Okay. Thank you. My last question before I give the floor to public, if they have a question, would you reach out to us here, especially your former institution, the UBM Medical Center or UBM? Would you be able to reach them out or personally?
I would love to reach out to them. I don't know if they are already overwhelmed. There's a feeling that the West is actually overwhelmed, so I don't know. But any help from anywhere is actually welcome. Especially, let me just say, especially, which is the work that I'm tasked to do, is to establish more testing centers. And I thought you guys were going to ask about that because COVID-19, you need to test and then manage. If you are not able to test, then you cannot manage. So our goal is to establish as many testing centers across the country as much as we can, so that people can be tested at the state level instead of being in complex students. Right now we have a serious backlog, almost I think 4,000 right now, samples that are waiting to be tested. Because the problem was this, we didn't have a capable laboratory that was able to test COVID-19 in 24 hours. The only PCR machine that we had, polymerase reaction, the molecular testing platform that is being used, was only one. It was brought to test for Ebola. The country didn't have anything else. That machine was brought to test for Ebola and other hemorrhagic fever. So when COVID-19 came, that platform was customized to deal with that. But now we're adding more testing centers. So with respect to your question about UBM, if they could help us with the establishment of more testing centers, that is something that I can reach out.
Well, let's talk about nothing impossible. I think you read them here. I don't know whether they are overwhelmed or not. I would just throw it out there. It's something that is, you're thinking about or not.
Something that I have in mind.
Okay, good.
And I think I will probably initiate who is highly connected there with the university stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
And then you, Mr. Kid, will become a media sensation.
No, I am not. I'm just a regular citizen trying my best. So to general public, if you have a question for Dr. Bill, what I want to say to Mr. Kwani here, you guys sometimes need to get sick of politics. Whatever your complaint is, go ahead, go and call your uncle that there is a doctor that came out. He's a member of task force, and general public are trying to know what is happening. There is no politics here. So please excuse yourself for the sake of God. For God's sake, excuse yourself. There is no politics here. Um, so if you have a question
Peter,
for
I have a suggestion. Remember, we have two brothers who were on the screen, and we told them to step back so doctor can have a wide network. So can we bring them back so they will be the next people to ask question because they were on the screen?
I will try to minimize adding people on his call. If they can request, I can do that. But I have Nuri here. I believe Nuri has a question for Dr. Bior. Nuri.
Yeah.
Welcome back again, brother. You have a question for Dr. Bior?
Yes. My question is.
I don't see Nuru. Where is him?
Okay, I'm on the stage.
But I can hear him. Let him talk.
No. Let Nuri there. Let me take something out. Let me take the title out and yeah, Nuri there.
I can hear him. Let him talk.
Okay. First of all, I'm very appreciative that a primary witness of COVID-19 in Juba is here with us, Dr. Bior, and I would be very thankful to the Lagos State media. This is why we have media. Now, my question would be, having listening to you and the way the virus is getting serious, I would be thinking about a very basic question. Now, we know virus can stay on the surface for some time. We know virus can spread through coughing and through talking and through close contact. We have seen people who have been affected. And my question would be, in Juba, especially in Makati, especially among colleagues who have been tested positive, and general population, or many people who have been tested positive, are there basic things that are being done in Juba with regard to disinfects some of the objects that may be used by people who are present in Juba and physically present in Juba, and people who might be using some of the essential and non-essential object in Juba? Do we have people who would be sent to disinfect these objects? Because when you sit on them or use them, that's one of the things how the virus can begin to spread and become spread across the board.
That is a very good question. Yes, in Juba, there are alcohol-based disinfectants that have been provided to public areas. For example, restaurants. When you go to a restaurant, the first thing that the waiter will do is to spray your hand with disinfectant, and also spray the table and chairs where you're going to sit and wipe them down. That is to make sure that the person that was sitting there before, if that's something on the surface, then the disinfection will be delivered. So in Juba, in public places, you find those natures. The only problem is this: those things such as the hand sanitizer and the disinfectants are not. We don't have enough of them to give to all the households. When I went into a store to buy hand sanitizer for myself, I carry one with me in my pocket. The price of the hand sanitizer was a bit inhibited. So for the common man in Juba, it's almost inaccessible because they cannot afford it. So it seems like those who can afford those items are the ones that will protect them in a better than the general population. So you see there's a class issue and that is going to be involved. So the recommendation that has been put forth by the task force is to make sure that these agencies that are working here, the health agencies and other UN agencies, provide those things free of charge to the household. Because people will not be able to afford them themselves. But yes, your question is correct. Those measures, those items, to provide a great deal of that is good.
Are we supposed to ask one question, or we can ask
Yeah,
two or three questions?
Go ahead. You can ask like 2 to 3 questions.
Okay. Another question, because we're getting this question because of the beautiful presentation that you have made. We're also getting this question framing in our mind because we have been reading news and we have been reading who is tested and who is not tested. So we have been tuning into the national television in Juba, and your presentation has also enhanced the kind of question that we would be asking here. We have to remember we have families, and we also have to remember we have population that also belong to us in South Sudan as well. We also have to be reflecting whether or not there are certain things we can be involved at the local level, at the community level, as people who are in diaspora. So there is a level of responsibility here. Now, my next question would be, you were in the West here, and you have been opposed to ethical, practical standards. These would make me to ask a question, because I think you are the right person, that some of the things that tend to cause a level of mistrust in the medical practices as far as this serious pandemic is concerned is breaking confidentiality and breaking patient privacy, or breaking giving information that may not be appropriate to be given by a wrong person. Because I have seen there seem to be pressure on people who have been tested to come forward and display themselves publicly in justifying that they are either positive or not positive. Now, dealing with this pandemic very serious, and Juba is now in the peak of this, is now getting, it's now the virus is now spreading into communities because every day there are new cases. How do we make sure that the medical information is not getting into wrong hands, or is not forcing people to come out when they should not be be supposed to come out?
That is a very good question. I think somebody asked it earlier in a different way. I said, it's not necessary to reveal the name of the individual who has been tested for COVID. Either positive, any information add no value to that medical information. Now, if the politicians are the one coming forward on their own to say that I have been tested and I have tested positive, then also let us think very careful about what leadership is all about. And also remember, there is a level of skepticism in South Sudan towards COVID. But there are people who still don't believe that the virus is here. So there are many ways the leaders can lead. And the leaders that have come out and declared themselves that they have been tested and they're tested positive, will also, deal with the question of whether the virus is here or not in the general public. So people will know that this virus is here, and that is something to be taken seriously. So I really appreciate those leaders that have come out saying that they are tested for COVID-19 and they are tested for COVID. And then they can now tell people what they would want them to do. That's another way of leading. In a crisis like this, there are so many ways the leaders can lead. And one of those is moral leadership. If you can tell people what the real information is and you tell them what they need to do to protect themselves, I consider that a leadership. Now, I would say it is only the person who has been tested who can now come out publicly on his own or on her own and reveal that to the nation themselves. It is unethical for anybody, say, at the National Public Health Laboratory, to come out with that information without the consent of the person who has been tested and reveal their identity. It makes no sense. It's unethical, and we actually discourage people from doing that, and people are not doing that. What you see in the social media, is the general social issue. Everything is political. So people think that they have a point to score against the political opponent by saying that, so and so tested for COVID-19. I don't know what value that it adds politically to the person who is doing that, but I see a lot of that being done. And I can assure you the staff of mental health, the people that are handling testing are not the one involved in that shenanigan. So yes, I agree with you. It should not be done unless the person comes out on their own. For example, like what the first biotherapy has done and the has done. That is leadership. They can do that. You know, for example, when Boris Johnson tested positive for COVID-19, he came out and he told the UK audience, told the citizens that he has tested positive, and then he's going to the hospital to make sure that this issue is dealt with. So that is perfectly fine. But for any other person to come out and say Dr. Bior was tested for COVID-19 and he was tested positive without my consent, that in itself is unethical.
Okay. This is my last question, and then I'll leave others. Now, you deal with sample when they arrive. Is there a specific time that you would want this sample to be delivered to your office or to your lab or to the lab that is dealing with COVID-19 cases? Is it like 4 hours, 6 hours? Because at a certain time, the sample would not be useful if it stay away without getting into the lab for a long time. If something like that is being taken care of to make sure that the sample is not coming without integrity that is needed on it. That's one. Another one here is, are you seeing people still gathering in ceremonies that would be bringing people together? If those ceremonies are still happening, are authorities taking measures to make sure they enforce a law, make sure these people are not bringing population in which population would be exposed to the virus? And I will stop there on those two questions.
Okay, thank you. So let me just address the last part of it. You see, the protocol that has been laid out by the Honorable Council in conjunction with the municipality is that no gathering of people, either for marriage or for any other social gathering, because that violates the principle of social distancing. But that is said, that is easy said than that. People are still gathering. And you know, in South Sudan, there are places that are not accessible to law enforcement. So people in the villages can gather, and there will be no government to go and destroy them. And that especially considering the fact that there are no state houses right now. So there's a bit of vacuum at this level. So that of the protocol is not being effective. That's what I say. Now, going back to your practical part of the issue of the campaign, Here's the problem that we are facing in South Sudan, and it's not just a COVID, something that we have been dealing with for a long time now. We have only one national laboratory, which is public health laboratory, and it's supposed to serve the whole country. Now, how do you transport samples from, say, Pachala to Juba? Without a road, the air transport is very irregular. So you run into the issues of samples transfer not being effective, and sometimes it's fragmented. So what the result of that is that we have a very high turnaround time for the sample that we. The turnaround time is when you receive the sample and when can you get back the result to where the sample came from. For South Sudan, the turnaround time is running around weeks, not days, not hours. The same thing for COVID-19. Say if you have a sample in hand, you need to be brought to give us test. Of course, it's going to be delayed. And then you run into the issues of the sample integrity. RNA get degraded very easily. So if the sample is not kept properly, then by the time it arrives in the lab, you don't really get information out of it. So that is the challenge that we are facing. How do we want to address it? The way we are addressing that is to establish testing centers for the country as possible, so that it can shorten the turnaround time. So, for example, today I have been working with the oil company. We want to establish testing centers to serve the oil producing community. That petroleum is going to establish 2 labs, one in Palos, one in Ren, and Depot, which is a greater pioneer operating company, is going to establish 2 labs, one in Bentiu and one in Paya. That way, those are the extreme northern part of the country. Those labs will serve those places, and so potentially you will bring your turnaround time to your present centers. For the rest of the country, all the chemical hospitals, we have another testing platform called Gene Healthcare that we are going to put in each of the country that is being handled samples. So in a way, by establishing many testing centers in the country, we can change the turnaround time. Just 3 more machines to locate Juba. Those are not yet running, are being installed. So right now we only have 1 machine. So we already have a backlog of more than 4,000 samples that need to be tested, but they are not yet tested. So what he just said is a very normal challenge. We are trying to that within the limited capacity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nuri, for your question. And there are 2 questions that I am going to ask, and they came from general public. Some of the questions are repeating. Dr. Bior have already answered them, but I will give you 2 questions. One, since you said the goal is to take the testing centers to the state, and also now you guys are trying to make sure you guys have also the other medical facilities within the state. So the question is, are there ventilators that you guys are supplying to the state? And the other question is, what is the situation in unions, especially the ID part? How is the situation with the COVID-19? Is it like growing fast like in Juba, or is it so? What is the situation?
Okay, let me say some of the things that I'm telling you are planned. And I told you earlier that COVID-19 is not waiting for us. Let's see our plan. We're doing whatever it is doing. And our ability to share after the equipment under the African Development Bank, we structured that a few weeks ago, And so I think WHO is now implementing that. We're going to be those in hospital and establish ICU with ventilators, all the 10 states. So that will be that. Now with the POCs, POCs are part of the general public. They are now being considered with the rest of the country. They're not being given special treatment. But there are agencies, health agencies that are working within POCs that are taking care of those. Samples are being taken from POCs, that's just like other areas. So I can say the people at the POCs are being taken care of. Those are everybody.
Okay. With that being said, Madid, if you have more question or if anybody has any other question, if you do not see your question asked, then because I felt like some of them are repeating, maybe that's the reason you have not seen the question. Yes, are
Yeah,
you?
I think all the questions will be answered. And
Kwano Jr., nobody is targeting you, but you have been way over your head trying to politicizing this situation. But there is no politics here. So if you are into politics, come back again, because all of us want to know what the situation is. And
yeah, thank you, Brother Ball. Peter.
okay,
Dr. Bia, thank you so
one
much
second.
for coming in again.
Dr. Buell, one more last question. The question is, are there cases that has already been recorded from the states?
Yes, there are already cases being recorded from the state. Like I told you, we are not containing in Juba. It's a spread to the state. So we just contain it at the level of the country.
Okay. Go ahead, Madid.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bia and Nuri and Brother Peter. I think it's getting late from your side, Doctor, so we will let you go. And we appreciate you for coming in and answering, because I thought that the reason why we bring you in is because to update the public, because the people of South Sudan who live in that too have information. For some of them, they don't have access to social media. And the South Sudanese who are living in the diaspora, they have some their loved one live in South Sudan. They need to know how the situation is going on, and that's the reason why we bring you in today to update. You are there, you are working there, and let people know what's going on. So to close the show and the final is that I have to ask you about, because I know you talk about all these things, but I think probably you mentioned it during your answering. But the question that I want to ask, that should be the last. My question is, what the South Sudan Health Service learn about this crisis, like strengths, weaknesses, or opportunity, or any threat that they learn through this coronavirus outbreak in the country. And this is what I want to. This should be the last question that we can. I can put you in. So, what do your health service learn uh, about this crisis? And if there's something that happen like this, what will be? Or what be the health service in South Sudan can put in place so that something like this will not happen?
That is one question to really end our show with. Let me reframe it for you. I think it should have been, what has the country learned from what is happening? You see, we have not been investing in the healthcare system in South Sudan as a country. Our national budget only allocates every year only 1% of the total national budget to health. You cannot build an effective health care system if you cannot spend money on it. So the reason why we don't have effective ICUs now that can contain COVID-19, the reason why we don't have hospitals of reasonable standard that can deal with COVID-19 is because we as a country have not been investing in our healthcare infrastructure. We have not been investing in the personnel to run our healthcare system. So this is a wake-up call for us. It's a wake-up call for the country. Because if you're really going to have a healthy, productive population, you really need to spend a little bit more on the healthcare system. Otherwise, if COVID-19 does not devastate us, something else entirely different from, unless we really sit down and revisit our priorities. Our healthcare system is broken. It's in shambles because we have not been investing in it. So COVID-19 is a wake-up call to really fix what we have not been able to pay attention. So that's what I can say about that. I hope the leaders now, I have been interacting with them and I can see in their faces a sense of regret that if we had done a little bit better before, we would not be in a position that we are. What I would like to make as an appeal to my brother, because I was also in the West, like you, and I've also been visiting, our people are vulnerable. And I know the Western societies are also overwhelmed. But I think there's a need for us to again do mobilization on behalf of our people. One, at your individual level, toward your own community or your family. They need resources. For example, I talked earlier about hand sanitizer. Something simple as hand sanitizer or hand washing station. There are communities that are not able to accept those. And the government is not in a position to really provide those. So we need to think outside the box and mobilize on behalf of those communities. Start at your family level. Whatever resources you have, see something and give to them so that they can afford those items that can help in reducing the risk of contracting COVID-19. At the community level, I would urge you to do what we used to do when we were in the West. When we used to do fundraising to help the community. We have been doing fundraising to build schools. We have been doing fundraising to build hospitals, right? That's what we have been doing. The fundraising now should switch to providing commodities to the community so they can help in protecting themselves against COVID. Provide them with washing stations, hand sanitizers. You can have a consignment of authentic hand sanitizers for those communities to be distributed. If we just relax and say we now have a government that can now take up the lead and provide those with the health agency, our jail population is going to be vulnerable. So go back to what you used to do on behalf of those communities. That's what I can say for now. But generally, at this stage, there's not much we can do to keep COVID-19 out of South Sudan. It is already here. And what we need to do is how do we control it? How do we make sure that it does not kill as many people as we would like to kill? That's what I can say.
Thank you, Dr. Biar. Appreciate it. And please be safe out there. And thank you so much. And we pray for all South Sudanese to be safe from this disease. We will. I will stop here, Peter. You can go ahead and let the doctor. We can let the doctor go because it's too late. That is 3 a.m. right now. So thank you, doctor. Have a wonderful night and be safe, please.
Thank you, Dr. Bior. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You have heard the situation. It is up to you as individual to also make sure you do your part, because it's not every corner that the government is going to save. But thank you again, Dr. Buer. We appreciate you coming out. For some of us, we have learned a lot. For those who want to politicize the situation, it is up to them. They are going to figure out where the politics is and who want to talk politics. But here, uh, we want to make sure our people are safe. Hopefully, we will bring you back next time. Until then, have a wonderful morning.
Thank you,
Tomorrow,
Peter
Tuesday.
Kenny. Thank you, Peter Kenny. Thank you, Madid Majak and the Lagos State Media and all the people who have tuned in. Have a great afternoon. I think it's now afternoon for you guys.
Yeah, evening. Yeah, it's evening here.
Evening now. Yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock p.m.
Okay. Bye,
All
Dr.
right. Thank
Buer.
you, guys.
Thank you. Have a wonderful morning. Yeah.
All right, Brother Nuri, thank you for tuning in. Uh, I hope our people learned. Uh, I don't think we can talk much until then. If there is a politic coming up, or I
Before
can
we
think,
close, yeah, before we close the show, we need to do some announcement, or we can roll for tomorrow anyway. So thank you, brother Nuri, and this, I thought that this one is great thing so that we can invite the people on the ground to give out the insight, and instead of reading the fake news in the media, what's going on, but for those people who are making this as a political football, I don't think it's not a good. Of course, coronavirus, every disease that outbreak is not by part. It's not a SPLI or SPLMIG or anything. It's a general. So, and our people, they need to be put this in their mind that this disease is here to kill everybody, and we need to raise awareness to our people, so how they can protect themselves. For right now, you see me, I'm at work, I'm in my office, and when I step out, I'll take my mask and put it on. You see, to protect myself. If I stay in my office here, I take this, wipe down, huh, all this surface. So this how you kill this germ, and how we can also too hand sanitize that the doctor say. These are always hygiene is always the important for our people to make sure that we have all the information that they need to protect themselves. So in order to do that, we have to go inside to invite those doctors who are fighting, who are the front line. They are in front line. They are fighting this disease. Their life is on the line. So we should appreciate them, you know. And for that being said, so we always here to bring our people here to update us what's going on back home. So for that, I thank you, Peter and Brother Nuri, and we'll end the show here. We will announce upcoming up show tomorrow. So thank you, and Peter, you can take it from there, and you can wrap up the show.
thank you, Brother Madid. Brother Nuri, uh, you have you have a last word to say. What do you think about doctor coming out?
I think I need. Now he spoke to people to people who are living outside, and I think people are not that evil, because people who are outside are putting information that is stigmatizing people who have real disease. And I think it is time for general population, whether outside or inside, to stand with people who have been tested positive or tested negative. We have seen that serious challenges of testing, they're very concerning because they're not sufficient. I think it's called to put energy into generating resources at a community level with people who have resources. I think it's an important call that people who are in charge to lead people here in diaspora or individual who are thinking along the line of humanity should begin to put something to put empathy toward helping vulnerable population in South Sudan. I'm surprised that we have demonic mind. Really surprised that we are creating information in order to get a pleasure out of this serious disease. You know that yes, if you don't like politician, yes, if you don't like certain general, I don't think you would have a ticket or a liberty to wish anybody to die because of this serious disease. Because once you do it to anybody that you are wishing to have serious ultimate decision or ultimate judgment, then the other side will also do the same. They will also do the same. If you do the same, they will also do the same. So we have to be led by empathy, not by demonic witches that are not necessary at this time. It is time for people to stand together and have empathy for those people who are dealing with this. We have seen that people are being infected seriously, and the numbers are going up every day in Juba, and the numbers are now spreading in other areas as well, especially vulnerable population, which may not be accessible to humanitarian agencies or to medical equipment. So, if there is something that prayers can do, is that to pray that the virus would not be staying around for a longer time, because the more it stays around for a longer time, the more it can really severely affect so many people, including those people that you might think that they are having immunity. It is now affecting children, and that's very concerning as well. People who are exposed to it, it doesn't matter whether you are young or not young, you would be having this virus. Um, it's something that need our collective empathy, to have empathy on those people who on all of us, for here and at home as well. So I want to thank Lake State Media, and this is the reason why we have media. Lake State was created, at time, not thinking that it would be dealing with the issue of coronavirus or COVID-19 now, but now here it is. Lagos State has brought, um, one of the distinguishable doctors in Juba, and this is not new for him. He dealt with crisis of South Sudan on medical side of it every time. Whether oil catastrophes or war catastrophes, and now coronavirus pandemic, especially on medical side research, um, uh, generation within South Sudan. So he has been dealing with these issues, and I think it is time to listen to him and touch base with him, and try to see what are the ways that people here in diaspora can be handy, instead to wish people to die, because uh, people believe this is the only way now you could get rid of your enemy. This is not the time to get rid of your enemy. This is the time to help humanity and put yourself in a position of Red Cross, because it doesn't matter. Red Cross can treat everybody alike. And leave your values aside. Let the values of humanity lead you, to save life first. Other things they will be dealt with later on, but now it is time to focus and let people be getting what they need. So thank you. I appreciate you for bringing me, and we should be doing what Brother Madid has been doing to disinfect his office, and that's what they should be doing in Juba, to disinfect all the servicing areas that are accessible to public. And if it means that results need to be generated, then they have to pay attention to that for sure. Otherwise, if disinfection is not happening everywhere in offices, then it would be serious. And I think that's why you're seeing what is happening right now. Even the podium in which they used to stand and speak there, that podium should be disinfected as well. Every time those podiums, they should be given priority. All right, J1 should be given priority to disinfect because every society, there are people who deserve, whether at the local level or the higher level, who deserve the highest protection, because they will be a stigma to society if they're not well taken care of. Children, they should be well taken care of. Vulnerable population should be well taken care of. People who are in charge of the society, of the country, they should be well taken care of. You cannot be having demonic mind to infect, to bring virus and infect somebody who is making decision for people, whether you are a family member or a friend or a colleague. It would be a serious evil act to infect somebody intentionally because you do not like them.
Thank you, Brother Nuri. It's absolutely, we will do that on regular basis. If every single situation, there is always a hero, but it doesn't matter whether you are here in the US or back in South Sudan. Our medical staff, they are heroes. They are putting the life of their families online. So when we had this opportunity, we should take it seriously and be grateful for. I appreciate you coming out, and also I want to thank those who have tuned in as well. Uh, for those who have different opinion, it is up to you. It is your right, and you are entitled to it. And for us, it's very important, and we are grateful we have this opportunity. Thank you again. Have a wonderful evening or morning, wherever you are. Until then, we'll see you guys again. Good
Okay,
night.
thank you.